Thanks so much for cooking breakfast, mate.
Hey, anytime. I think although summer's on its way, I think looking at these clouds, we're not having a summer. So
You reckon?
Can we go to Australia?
We should all go to Australia. Teo, you go down a treat in Australia.
I'm not
mate.
gonna lie. Don't think I can get him.
Really?
Well, I've got to put on a record.
Really?
Sure.
For what?
Here we fucking go. So I got arrested for attempted robbery of the bargain booze shop. And do you know the funniest thing? And it's not funny. It's not funny, and it shouldn't be funny. But I walked in a Halloween monkey mask.
Was it your own mask?
Well, I bought it for the Halloween party about 6 months prior, and I didn't even go to the Halloween party.
So you just had it laying around?
Yeah.
Monkey mask.
Yeah. I mean, when you say it like that, it's quite funny, but.
Can I borrow your glasses? Because the sun's like just right in my face.
Yeah, same sound. Didn't want them anyway. Cool.
No, but like you've got your back to it. Or is that mum like facing straight up?
So, you look good in those glasses.
Thanks,
I want 'em
man.
back. So yeah, I'm known in this town, or was known, as the monkey boy that robbed a bargain booze and went to jail.
Has anyone like had you up about it, being like, "Oh, you're the guy that robbed the bargain booze"? It when you're like out on a night out.
More than you can imagine.
Really?
Probably since I left prison like 5 years ago, so it's a long time. But I'm only at a point now where I can openly talk about it in any way that I like.
We went out last night and no one said it.
This is the whole point. It's taken me 5 years to get to a point where people have sort of forgotten, and they now see me as the magician, the comedian, the guy who's doing pretty fucking well. I'm not the guy that robbed a shop in a monkey mask anymore.
Right. So why did you rob the shop?
Because I'm a dickhead.
No, but like really.
What was the goal? What were you?
Well, I owed naughty people some money, and everything just escalated out of control. And I was at a point where I was really desperate, and I was so involved with gambling and a gambling addiction, I just didn't really have any way to turn. And I owed these people a lot of money, so in my head, the right idea was to rob a shop, to make more money, to gamble with, to try and make the money to pay them back.
How much money did you owe them?
Just over 10.
£10,000.
Yeah.
And they were lending you money to gamble with.
Yeah.
In the hope. Hang on. So what did it escalate to the point where they're like, if you don't pay us, we're going to kill you?
They never said that, but they were just naughty people. And I'm not going to say names or who they are, but just for I'm sure you understand why.
No, name them. Sorry.
No,
We'll take them out.
Yeah,
you fucking won't.
I'm gonna see him right now.
You going to do it? We're going to take him to Space Boy?
That's why you bring a black guy to Macclesfield. That's gonna happen.
NASA.
No, I used to earn a bit of money, and I'd go in and gamble it all to the death. But when I'm in a certain place and I'm gambling and
On
then,
what though? What would you gamble on?
roulette, blackjack, baccarat, punto banco. I used to do £50 flips on heads or tails sometimes.
Why?
Because I loved it. I did one day. I met this stag do when I was performing, and I went, "Do you like to gamble?" And he went, "Yeah." I went, "Good, me too. You want to play coin to the wall for a €20 note?"
What's coins on the wall?
So you're from a wall, and then you flick a coin to the wall, and we did it about 11 times. I lost 11 times in a row.
What the?
I was just trying to win my money back, and I realised after 11 times I'm probably not going to win. And it's fucking stupid looking back now, but when you're in the zone and you lose 20 quid, you're like, fuck, I need to win it back. And then before you know it, escalates. And like, I've been at a point where I'd won £3,000 in like an hour, and I was ready to go home, and that was a good feeling. And then before I got the taxi home, I went, "Oh, I'm a little bit peckish. I'll sit down and have some food. I'll eat in the casino. It's great food." Had the food, and on my way out, before I leave the door, I just one more spin. I ended up losing the £3,000 and a further £1,000 of my own money, and I only started with like 300 quid as well. So I 10x my money, and then I ended up leaving £1,000 out of pocket.
What the fuck?
Do you wanna know why? Fucking dickhead. That's why.
So what got you into gambling? How did you find this thrill for gambling? Where did it start?
I played my first ever poker game when I was in year 9 with friends, and we played for like, I think the maximum you could win was £1, right? Between our friends. And when I won £1 for getting lucky, I was like, that's amazing. And then when I was 15, 16, we had a place called Silvercoin, And Silver Coin was an arcade machine. It had like £5 jackpot fruit machines. You know, you see in the pubs.
Mhm.
But instead of the £100 jackpot, it's £5 jackpot. And I ended up putting 80 quid in one of those machines to not even win. And then this guy, I'll say his name because I'm still friends with him, called Mike Tomo.
Shout out to you, Mike. Good job, mate.
Not really, it pissed me off.
Yep.
I'll tell you why it pissed me off. He put a quid in and won £11 out of that machine. He had a jackpot repeater. Fucking hated him ever since. No, but it was just, and that was the thing. It was never about winning. You just end up chasing your losses, and you just don't know when to stop. And I've got quite an addictive personality, so yeah, I got stupid, and then it just kind of. I went through periods of times, and then
Like where you wouldn't gamble.
where I'd always gamble, but I'd be resilient and reserved about it.
Oh,
I wouldn't be stupid. But then there's points where I just go off the rails. Like even though
Was that after a win or after a loss you would go off the rails?
I did it when I was sad and lonely. It's fucking stupid, but
Okay.
I don't because at that point I still don't drink alcohol or do any drugs other than weed. But back then I didn't even smoke weed. We all go through shit. We're all happy, sad, or whatever, and you just kind of deal with it. The way I dealt with it, I felt happy and comfortable when I was in a casino gambling.
Really?
It was kind of just a place for me to let loose and kind of be carefree for a while. But which was stupid because when I left the casino and I was down out of pocket, you just feel 10 times worse than when you walked in.
Yeah.
But because you've lost so much money, you're like, I'm going to beat this fucking system. I'm going to come back tomorrow. And you come back tomorrow and you leave sad the next day.
Have you seen the people that move to Las Vegas because they love gambling so much and they like live near the casinos and they're just in there all the time? That's their entire life.
That used to be my dream.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to move to Vegas and just be a full-time gambler.
Really? That's
what were you like
insane.
after a win then? Like a huge win.
Do you
if
have
you-
many huge ones?
If you managed to get out
Sometimes.
with it as well.
No, not really. In the grand scheme of things, if you never knew that I had a gambling problem and I told you I won £11,000, you'd be like, "Oh my god, that's amazing."
Right.
But I probably lost 15,000 to win 11,000, so I'm actually still 4K. So over a 3-month period, I would have put in a load of money, not got anything, and then in one day I just bink it. So it's like a bank that you put your money into. This is the way you'd see it as a gambler. Oh, it's just a bank. Just putting money into it, and one day I'll just take it back out. Don't know when that day will be, but I'll get it back one day. Oh, but they charge you £4,000 interest for looking after the money. Yeah, but I got 11 grand, and that's sort of the way you look at it.
Oh, okay.
So was the thrill, because I've always wanted to get into the psyche of a gambler, is the thrill the win or is the thrill the game leading up to the
The
win?
game leading up to it.
Okay. So it's like foreplay and sex, like, you know.
Yeah.
The lead up is always more exciting.
Yeah, and
You're basically like fingering a casino.
yeah, I've fingered that. That casino fingered me.
Right, okay.
I got fingered. Yeah, there's when you win and you cash out. Yeah, it looks pretty, but there's nothing more exciting than seeing that ball go round the wheel. Wherever
Really?
the
So
fuck's it-
that's
That's
the
it's
what-
just
exciting
go
bit.
making whatever noise it makes, and you're like, go on, and you got 100 quid on a number, and you're like, fuck, it's gonna come in, and it doesn't come in. You're like, fuck, and you get super angry with yourself. So you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna win that 100 quid back and more. So I'll put 200 quid on that next number, and before you know it, you're crying in the toilet.
Did you ever like make friends with anyone in the gambling community that sort of like encouraged you by telling you like great stories? Like I've got a guy that gambles a lot on sports. He just, pardon me, I shouldn't eat while I'm asking a question. He gambles a lot on sports, and he's a horrible influence for me. But I don't gamble at all. But he's always like, "Oh, mate, she's paying 3 to 1. Like, there's absolutely no way. Like, she should be the outsider. Like." And it's just like, every conversation we have about sport, he's always telling me the odds. Like, mate, if you're going to get on something, this is the time to do it. Did you have any people that were like...
Oh, loads. Just for the people, even good influences as well. So when you go to the casino, like, I used to go just to play poker. That was my thing because I really enjoy poker.
Yeah. And you still play poker now?
I still play poker now.
Yeah.
And I've just learned to not be a dickhead in a place like that.
Yeah.
So I leave my bank cards at home. I take how much it is for the poker tournament. I'll take a little bit extra to get food and drink, and maybe an extra 20, 30 quid to play the tables. Because it's fun. I'm not, even though I had an addiction, it is fun and it's good banter. But I now play like £2 a hand and just do it. And I don't play to win or lose. I play to socialise and meet new people
Yeah.
and just have a fun time.
We are at the back of James's house, so you can hear the aeroplane going over. This is real life. People fly. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, and so yeah, now I do it for fun. But back in the day, you'd always be around people, and you'd go with people who had more money than you, and you see them win, and you kind of want to follow suit. So you want to bet like they bet because they've got a bigger bankroll, they can do it more and stuff.
So did they have a bigger bankroll because, like, what's the word? Because they were successful at gambling, or did they just have a job that supported a higher bankroll?
Bit of both. So I'd have people who I knew who made money illegally, so it's all good money. So they need a place to launder the money, right? So they'd go in and lose £1,000 and not really give a fuck. It's just expendable cash that didn't matter about to them, right?
So whatever they can get back is a win because they've got to wash the money.
Yeah, it's free money, right? So if they lose it, oh no. But if they
what
win,
sort of illegal methods are we talking?
And who are their names?
No, we don't need their
Well, I
names.
just want names. Man.
Shut up, NASA.
Look, man.
there was people in drugs, there was people in fraud, and there was people who I didn't know what they did, but it wasn't good.
Okay, interesting. So, the people that you owed money to, were they in England?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were from Manchester, but I owe money to other people as well at that point, and I was just.
And did these people who were loaning you the money know that you had a problem with gambling?
Yeah.
Okay. So why were they giving you more money?
Because ultimately, they kind of have you by the thumb. So the more money they give you, the more money they make. Because if you don't give them their money back, ultimately, they'll just fucking hurt you. So they can just use intimidation factors. So.
Oh, so you were not like borrowing money off like your mum and your friends.
No,
it was all like not good people.
So say you were two of the people, and I say, can I borrow £1,000? Yeah, thanks so much. I'll give you back in a couple of weeks. Yeah, cheers, appreciate that. I'll go and lose that. Excuse me, can I have 1,500 quid? You know I'm good for it. I was good last time. I'll give you back in 2 weeks. Take the 1,500 quid, mate. I've got your £1,000. There you go, nice one. So I built a relationship with him, got more money off you, and then I come back to you because I've paid you consistently, mate. Can I have £3 grand? Yeah, of course you can. There you go. There's your 1,500 quid back. I've got a bigger budget to gamble with. I was out earning money myself, and I got into like a payday loan where you borrow money to pay one and the other, but it wasn't a payday loan. They were just naughty people.
Right.
And then,
how did you think this was a good idea?
I
In all like politeness, that just sounds fucking retarded.
What you said? Why?
Because I'd got myself into this situation where I was so addicted to gambling, I didn't know anything else. And I'd had wins where I earned good money. So in the back of your mind, you're always like, I could have that big win again. Because why not? Other people do it. In your mindset, you're like, if they can do it, why can't I do it? Do you hear about the guy that won £100,000 off 20 quid one time? Why not me? So that's in the back of your mind.
I didn't hear about that guy.
It's just a hypothetical.
Oh, right, okay. I was going to say, have you heard about this?
No, but when you consistently go to the casinos, you hear about the people who get the big breaks or they get lucky and just do something. So in the back of your mind, you're like, if they can do it, I'm surely could have my big break. Why couldn't I have my big break?
What was your chosen casino? What was your preferred place to go?
Well, I'm barred from a few of them now.
Barred?
For what?
Well, because I made national news about going to prison. They just think it's not good for me to be in there. So I'm barred from Gentings, I'm barred from 235. And you know what? It's a
235 in Manchester or 235 everywhere?
I think as a company like or like the Caesar Palace, I think I'm on their system to be barred. I don't know if it's true, but I'm barred from the one in Manchester, and their systems are like.
So you used to go into Manchester to gamble, didn't stay out here?
Yeah, it was my main place, but when I was abroad, I'd gamble and stuff as well. Anywhere I could gamble, I'd gamble.
You got a specific game then that was like, I'm going
what's
to this.
What's the most thrilling game? Not poker, because poker's like a skill game almost.
Roulette is the most exciting.
Okay.
I've never played roulette. I find it ridiculous.
It's exciting. I'm not gonna lie. Roulette is a very exciting game. It's dangerously exciting.
Is it because of the chance it could, it's just got.
Yeah. If you give me £1 and I give you £35 back in 1 minute, that's pretty good return on investment. That's not bad, is it?
It's if though. Are you trying to sell gambling to
I'm
me?
just-
This is
no.
not what this is about, man.
No, I'm saying that's the mindset I was in.
Okay.
So I put £1
Calm down.
on a number, right?
I'm just gonna give them two. See what happens.
You guys want some fruit?
So I put £1 on a number, and then if that number comes in, you get £35 back plus your pound on it. That's like, if you do that 10 times in an hour, in your head, that's 350 quid. Who else is paying you 350 quid an hour? And you come up with all these strategies. Oh, it was on this side of the wheel 3 times in a row, so it's got to be the other side. So I put a quid on all them ones, and you just come up with these stupid things. It is literally a ball.
How many numbers on a roulette wheel?
There's 37 altogether. Starts at 0, ends at 36. And then it just the only benefit I learned from having a gambling.
So the casino, or even if you get the jackpot, they still knock a percentage point off the odds.
Yeah, you don't get the full value. No, you should get £36 plus your pound back if it was a real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you lose an edge there already.
A very runny nose.
The game that I've always done really well on, the game that I never really lost a lot of money on, but I'd lose my money on other games, was Baccarat.
I don't even know what that is. Explain it.
So Baccarat is a game.
Some white people shit, man. Don't worry.
No, I'm alright.
So Baccarat is a game where what happens in Baccarat? The dealer deals out 2 sets of hands. He deals out a player's hand and a banker's hand right in front of him. Before the game starts, you get the choice to bet on the player or the banker on each hand. So it's a 50-50 chance.
And what are you looking for? Like traditional poker hands?
Nearest hand to 9. So if you draw a picture card, that values as a 0. Ace is a 1. And
2, 3, 4 up the rank. Okay.
And there's 3 cards drawn maximum, so the nearest hand to 9 wins. But you'll see.
Nearest hand to 9?
Yeah. But
so what about if you get a 9?
A 9 in a picture card, that's a natural 9, so you can't lose with that.
Okay.
You can't lose your money. Worst case scenario, you draw, but draws are very unlikely. But the good thing about that game, where you make the most money, is you get a thing called side bets. Okay. So you can bet on the straight up player or banker, right? Or you can bet on it being a tie. So if both hands equal to 9 or 8 or 7, you get to choose each value if you want to. Or you can bet on it just being a tie in general. So if it's just a tie in general, depending on the casino, it either pays 8 or 9 to 1 as like a rule of thumb. But if you bet on a specific one, like if it comes in 0 tie, it's 200 to 1 on your money, and you can put whatever you want on that. So people are putting 25 quid a go on stuff like that. Yeah. So they're getting £25 times £200, and they're not even high rollers. Like some people put like 100, £200 on it. Some people are putting thousands on it. Like, but they're betting super big. Like I've seen guys bet like 25. I've been on a table.
But how often does it happen? Is the legitimate odd 200 to 1?
I don't really know the maths on it, but I've seen in some games, ties can come out like 15, 16 times in a game. And people try and do it where they see, like, if there's not been a tie in 40 games throughout the game, the odds are in the next 40 hands there's going to be a tie. So some people try and do it at a point, or some people just go every hand, but they bet super big on the player and banker. So when they win on that bit, it covers their bet for that bit. But if obviously if it goes wrong, so it's just one of those. Sometimes you can just run really good on it. And you can see patterns as well, because you get to see the order on a thing. Yeah. So it'll be like player, banker, player, banker, player, banker, 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 player, player, player. And you start to see patterns.
Can you see what hands they had?
You can see if it was a natural 9 or not, but you can't see what the cards were.
Right, okay. But if you're there watching on the table, then you can see.
you can write down the notes and what's come out and stuff.
That's illegal, isn't it?
No? Not massively.
What about, so do you know about like blackjack and counting cards and all that? You got like a smart like magic brain. Are you able to do that shit?
I know the concept and the theory behind it, but not good enough to execute. And now it's different. So when that was a thing and everybody started doing it, all the cards were in a shoe. So that's the box that they're in. Yeah. And they're pre-shuffled and they're in there. So you can start to get a count when the cards come out, because once you get to the end of the shoe, the hand starts again, right? Yeah. But now casinos don't really use shoes anymore. They use
automatic shufflers.
Automatic shufflers. So every 150 cards or 100 cards or whatever that come out, they get put back into the machine. So you can never keep control of a count for a long period of time. So it's just...
Cruise ships still use shoes, though.
Do they?
Yep. The last cruise ship I was on had a shoe. And I was there trying to count cards and it did not go well. I wasn't betting, I was just trying to give advice, and then this guy threatened to kill me, so I left.
Sounds like a guy I know.
Yeah. I was like, man, why are you getting so serious? You've just lost $200, you bitch. So tell us about, so let's go to robbing the bargain booze. Okay. So you've obviously got the gambling problem. How would you describe your mental state, say the 24 hours leading up to the bargain booze heist, shall we call it?
I was just in a horrible place.
Like sad.
Super sad,
Okay.
lonely, too afraid to admit I had a problem, and I was like, fuck, what am I going to do?
Did you feel like you were in a hole? Like imagine a well and there's no ladders or there's no way
Yeah,
out.
100%.
And someone just throws a bug and boo shaped rope down and you're like, I'm gonna take that rope.
Pretty much, yeah. In my life, I never ever wanted to be a criminal or be known. It's not something. I just don't come from that kind of family.
Yeah.
I'm not. My mum raised me really well. I'm not.
It's got a nice fucking house.
It's just alright.
Dog's cool.
That's cool dog.
That cool speed.
Yeah.
What up?
So you know what? I've always been very lucky. My mum's never struggled to give me anything I needed and stuff, and she's not rich or anything, but she's just worked really to give me a nice life. So I'm very appreciative of that. And for my own stupidity, I get involved in this stuff. So 24 hours before I do it, I owe like plus 10k plus, right? Can't remember. It was like 10.7 or something like that. And I'm like, shit, what the fuck am I gonna do? So I said, I'm gonna rob a shop. No, I'm gonna rob a bookies. That was my initial plan. My initial plan was to go and rob a bookies because they have a load of money, right?
Mm.
So
And you're so familiar with being in there.
yeah, they're the fucking killers. You should. That's what we need to talk about afterwards because they're good now, but they used to be. They're the things that give people problems.
Mm.
Bookmakers, they are.
I've got a story for you about
They
it.
are
We'll get back to it.
dangerous fucking places.
Keep that in the pipe. We're going back to bookmakers while I eat this banana strawberry combo.
Yeah. So in my house before I go to Manchester, I get a drawstring bag and I pack the monkey mask into the bag.
Anything else? No, like weapon?
A pair of gloves.
A pair of gloves. Like. Oh, because you got tattoos on your hands.
Pretty obvious.
Okay.
So I'm sort of logistical about the whole
Okay.
situation.
Man, you're pretty smart. I think I've seen this on GTA.
What was the costume top to bottom? What were you wearing?
Gimp.
Gimp.
Nah, I just had a black coat on and some dark jeans. There was nothing like anything about it. So I go into Manchester that night, have 150 quid in my pocket to my name. So what do? I go to the casino in the hope because I don't want to rob a shop. That's not what I ever want to do. So I go to Manchester, go gambling, miss the last train home, and lose all my money. I just didn't win anything. So I'm just walking around Manchester at night time, waiting for the first train home. Just losing my fucking head, like, what the fuck am I going to do? Am I really going to do this? So I'm sat on this train, and I didn't know the.
So you'd thought about it for like a solid day.
Yeah,
or longer.
yeah. I was just like, I don't have any alternative. I'm so dead. I need some money.
And
What
how much? Sorry.
No,
How much money did you expect to get?
Don't know. It wasn't in my mind. Well, from the bookies, I was expecting a couple of thousand.
oh, okay.
That was my original plan. So I come back to Macclesfield the next
What was
day.
your question, sorry?
No, what were they like beforehand, the people you owed money to?
I hadn't seen them for like 3 days, but I was getting to a point where I was going to see them because it was coming up to the weekend.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, they're going to see me. I'm going to need to give them something.
Okay.
Like, even if it's just £1,000 to keep them sweet, I just need to.
So you
Yeah,
owed
just
one
Google.
person 10 grand?
Oh, okay.
Because of what you explained before, the pyramid, how you pay one to go to the next one.
Yeah. And then this guy, it went for a point. I was like, mate, I've got no money. Can I borrow some money? It was like 500 here, 600 here. And then I'm like, mate, I've got a gig coming in a couple of weeks. I'll start working a bit. So I'm working next week. So just give me some time. I was like, okay. Yeah. You can just see he was getting pissed off. I was just leaning down a fucking
Rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. I was just stringing him along to fuck, and I'd be pissed. I would have smashed my head in.
Did you ever get any violent sort of anything from anyone?
Later on, yeah.
Later on?
Off other people after this whole situation, because I'll explain about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Where were we? Oh yeah, so
you're on the train home.
I'm on the train home. I'm
Yeah.
inside. I'm just like I'm so fucking panicky and just not my normal self. And then the bookies I was gonna rob, I was stood opposite for a while, just looking at it for 10 minutes. I was like, can I do this? Can I not do this? And then I walk over, push the door open, and I'm like, I can't fucking do this. Close the door, walk out, and then just have a bit of a breakdown. I was like, that's fucking stupid. That is a bad idea. And at that point, I should have gone home, but no, I'm a dickhead. So
you had a moment of no.
Yeah, I had a moment of no. I was like, I can't do this. This is so wrong. I'm gonna ruin my life. So I take a long walk home. It takes me like I go a really long way, a way that I don't need to go because I'm just trying to clear my head a little bit. And then I walk past the bargain booths to go home.
What time is this? In the morning?
About 11 o'clock
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
on a Sunday.
Okay.
Fucking.
On the Lord's Day!
I mean, that's not the thing. It's not the Lord's Day the issue. How much fucking money is a bargain booze taken on Sunday at 11 o'clock? Everyone's already pissed and hungover. They don't need any fucking vodka. Probably got like 12 quid in there. But me, Uncle Knobhead, just fucking thinks it's a good idea.
Yeah, what other shops were there?
That's
Well,
it.
this was just a bargain booze.
Yeah,
That was it.
yeah.
That was the one he chose, man.
No, I
So-
would have gone for a corp at least.
It's not- Like, I'm not a criminal. Clearly, I'm fucking shit.
Neither am
So-
I, for clarification.
Neither am I.
Wow. That's why you're here, not in Australia.
What?
From the
You
river,
crazy?
yeah.
It's about you. Move on. Move on.
So I'm sat about 50 metres away from the shop, just looking at it, building myself up. Can I do this? Can't I do this? You need the money. Don't do this. You'll regret it. I'm just going through a whirlwind of emotions. What's
How
the
are
right
you
thing?
building yourself up? Like, what was the voice in your head saying, "This needs to happen"?
You need the money or else.
Okay. And or else meant what?
I don't know.
To
I
you.
just kept on saying or else. You're gonna need the money or else. And that was the only thing that was going through my head. And then I was like, has it really resorted to this? You need to sort your shit out. Anyway, I just got a rush of adrenaline. I just put the mask on, walked into the shop, and I didn't walk with power or force. I just walked in, and I looked at her and I went, "Give me the money in a fucking monkey mask." And she went, "No." And I was like, "Oh, can they do that?" In my head, I'm like, "Is that something are they allowed to say
You
no?"
should have literally turned around and be like, "This is not allowed."
And then
That's not how I've seen this playing out.
Supposed to
Yeah.
drop the money.
And
man.
I went, "Give me the money." She went, "No," and I'm like, "It hasn't gone to plan." And I went, "I'll come and get it myself." And she went, "No, you won't." I went, "Fair one." In my head, I didn't go, "Ah, fair one." Nice and shit. In my head, I'm like, "Oh, fuck's sake!" And then I was like, "I've failed. I've botched this up massively."
So you've got no weapon at this point, or
No, I'm
have
not.
you just walked in with like gun fingers under it?
No, I'm a
Nothing. Just
drawstring bag, and I went, "Give me the money," and I just looked like a fucking. I was gonna say I look like an autistic kid, but we're gonna chop that bit out. So
Okay, so ask her, be like, "Did you have a weapon?" Go again.
did you have a weapon on you then? Or
no, me and my drawstring bag just stood there, and I'm looking.
Give me the money, please.
Yeah, and then I'm just.
You didn't think to do like one of these
not
ones?
even.
I'm not a criminal, bro.
Oh, that's
That's
bare
I'm not
minimum. That
criminal,
is
man.
bare minimum.
I
Is
grew up in a God-loving
on.
home, but I know that's how you
That's-
rob a liquor store.
That's at least the bare minimum. You just went weaponless. All she saw was a monkey coming in, just going, money. Fucking Planet of the Apes deleted scene as well. So you walk in, there's the money. It's like, no.
Get the fuck out of here.
Can we do this again? So I just walked out of the shop after I said I'll come back.
You didn't even run.
I ran about 10 yards, but I was proper an alfie, so I needed to stop.
Oh.
Wait, did you run from the store or did you just walk out calmly? Wait, is that even a crime at that point? Or did you just... That's technically like a
It's
shit
attempted
conversation.
robbery, technically.
That's what he went to
Is it?
prison for.
Yeah, this is what I went to prison for. It's mad shit, but yeah. So I run off the road, and I'm like, right, they're not going to find me if I get rid of the evidence. So I take my mask off and chuck it in a bin. It's only 100 yards from the shop, so you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to find the fucking mask. And the reason that they found me and arrested me was they, because I was wearing the mask for about 10 minutes, I got sweaty, and there was sweat on it. And when I was 14, I told the police officers to fuck off when I thought it was hard. I was a teenager. And I got arrested for that, and they took my DNA. So it all linked me back to the crime.
Oh, fuck.
And that's how I got caught.
So how did you find out you'd been caught? Like, how long from when the bargain...
About-
you walked out of that bargain booze to when the police, I assume, came knocking on the door?
Yeah, about a week later, I got a knock on the door at like 7:30 in the morning. My mum opened it, and they went, "Is Curtis Watson in there?" I'm like, I wonder what this is about. Come downstairs, and they go, "We're arresting you on the suspicion of attempted robbery." No, they didn't even say that. We're arresting you, something to do with
And
the
charging you with attempted robbery.
yeah,
whatever
because I
the
knew it
line,
was
because
you.
there was no suspicion. They had the
Yeah.
DNA in the mask, so we're arresting you for attempted robbery.
Question. During that week, between the robbery and the cops showing up, were you, like, thinking, oh shit, I'm going to prison? Or were you like, I've got away with it? Or what was your
I thought I
thinking?
got away with it. I thought it was just a stupid thing that I did that no one will ever find out about. And that was that, and I'll just take it to my grave, and nobody knows that I was a dickhead. That's what I was hoping.
Really?
What
Yeah.
we... So you had a week. What were the people that owed you money like then in that week?
Do you know what well, it was about 2 weeks before the police came. To be fair.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what did the or else come?
Well, I paid him back within 10 days. I borrowed some more money off someone else, won all the money, paid him back.
You
So
won.
Yeah, I won some money. Like
Okay.
I won some money, paid him back, and then I didn't need to do it in the first place. So it was awful. It was just fucking.
Sorry, bro.
No, it's the best underdog story. That's best. And this is racism. This is.
Yeah.
Look at this.
I just didn't realise how much was.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So. Paid him back.
That's empty.
Equality. Racism again.
Had my spit, boy.
As if your people haven't been through enough.
Anyway.
So you ended up paying it back, and there was no need to do the crime in the first place. Okay.
No.
Did you tell? So before the police rocked up at your house, did you tell anybody about it?
No.
You just kept it to yourself, and your mum was like, "What the
My
fuck
mum,
is
my
going
mum
on?"
knew. My mum knew, but none of my friends knew it was me. Nobody found out it was me.
So it was reported there was an attempted robbery, but no one knew it was you.
How did your mum know it was you? Did you?
Because when the police come to the
Oh,
door.
okay.
Oh
Yeah,
right,
the
but
door.
no,
I
hang
thought
on.
you meant
But before the police arrived, no one knew.
No.
Okay. So like when the police came to your house, like did they put you in the car and like take you straight to the station?
They sat in the house for about 10 minutes, asked me to
Saying what?
just kind of going through the protocol you have to as a police officer, talking you through it and stuff. Saying, right, we're going to take you to the station now. This is a plan of attack. Giving my mum some reassurance while I got dressed, like because I was in like pajamas or whatever. Like,
Oh, okay.
my sleeping gear. So I get
You wear
dressed.
pajamas?
So
How old are you?
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Pajama boy.
You're gonna be wearing the same pajamas all the fucking time, in a minute, boy.
Hey, a pajama company doesn't make pajamas, and that officer go, "Oh, too old for them." They're
No,
not
but
gonna
like,
make them.
there's a certain type of person that wears pajamas.
Yeah, me, mate.
Criminals and children.
Be careful where you go with that.
And right now, you're both.
I'm not. That sounded like you calling me a nonce. So.
No.
No.
Separate of each other, yeah?
Yeah.
I used to have some,
Anyway,
some
pajamas is way off topic.
when I was 7.
Yeah.
Once I was 7
Fucking
years
bastard.
old. Anyway, yeah. So we leave the house, and they don't put handcuffs on me. They just say we're going to take.
Did you ask them to? Did you think it would be cool if they did?
Nah. When I get back to being extradited out of Spain, that's interesting.
Okay. Oh, we'll hold out for that.
Yeah. They take me to the police station. They take me to Middlewich, do my interview and stuff. I'm there for like 6 hours.
What does your interview entail? Is it a bit like this?
A little bit more. Why did you do it? What? Blah 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 blah. Just question them on the whole process. A little bit like you do, but a bit more policey. Not less friendly.
So just.
And did you have to like what was the story you told? Because of the story, the truth.
I just said I had gambling debts and I was robbing the shop to get money. I'm not a bad kid. I just got caught up in a situation that I didn't know how to get out of.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Did they ask who the debts were to?
Yeah.
And did you tell them?
I said I'd rather not say.
Interesting. Okay. And how did they respond to that?
I'm no grass.
Oh,
Yeah.
What are you willing
Man
to
ain't
do
no
today?
grass.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Do the London accent and say "man ain't no grass"?
Man ain't no grass, you know.
You're the most unintimidating gangster I've ever seen.
Do it intimidating, bro. Put your hood up and be intimidating. Be like, I'll ask you, where were you on the night of March 7th?
Rob, don't be asking me where I'm at.
I don't even need to drink this. That was bad.
You gotta say man ain't no grass.
Man ain't no grass, you know. Don't be asking me questions about where man is and what he's doing and whatnot.
You're like a guy that didn't vote and you're acting bad. Like, yeah, do you know what it is, yeah?
Basically, I don't think this is like the institutions in the right place to
Man,
be doing that.
politics is confusing, bro.
Mad, bro.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't
Mad,
it?
bro.
Nah, on the those little utes, yeah?
Yo.
Those little utes.
We've got off
Yeah.
topic. We've got off topic.
The pajamas
Jake,
you're
can you
wearing,
just
bro.
edit this bit out?
No, keep it in. Do you want some bap?
No, who's eating bat on the rock? You know what?
Have a bap.
You want zero? Oh, you're bat.
Sometimes in prison I didn't eat. This is luxury.
Did they put that unknown place?
Yeah, we're going way off topic.
Yo.
Oh,
Washed your pots.
oh, thank you.
Right, I'm off out now. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Probably a good time to kill.
Probably got all that.
Oh, what we're talking about?
Hey, would you say you're a Batman?
Oh, you know what? It's Bapism and that. Fucking easy.
Right, I think also we should just, because this isn't the important bit. The important bit is what prison's like and what I've got to get out of it.
Okay, so we'll speed it up to there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think a lot of this is like, it's necessary, but I don't think it needs to be as long and stuff. So
No, I'll speed it up. Don't worry.
cool. So ask the question again, and we'll go from where you want to.
Okay. So you're in the prison, right? They've done the interview with you. Do you go straight into a cell then, or like they let you go home, or?
They keep me in like a holding cell for a few hours.
Okay.
And then they come and get me like, how are you going to get home? And I go,
So they let you go?
on bail until a proper court date.
Do you have to pay like heaps to get out on bail?
No,
Oh,
yeah,
isn't that like a
that's
thing?
an American thing.
That's alright.
Oh,
Wait,
Yeah.
how much is bail here then?
Mate, I tried to rob a bargain booze in a monkey mask, probably not much.
Take one.
Yeah. Nah, you don't pay anything. They just let you out, and you're just on your own.
You're just on bail.
It's called unconditional bail.
so you need to be out until you get a court date, and then you get
You
sentenced?
get given a court date, and then you get sentenced. Until that
Is
point,
this if you're not a violent offender? Is that because I can't let violent people back out?
yeah, it's obviously situational. There'll be
Okay.
certain
Okay.
people they wouldn't let out.
Okay.
Like repeat offenders will get held on remand.
Right.
So you're either held on remand or you're on bail. It's one of the two.
Okay.
So I was on bail till my court date, and which was originally a magistrate's court date. Went to the magistrate's court date, and they went, "This is too serious of a crime. We're gonna have to go to Crown Court." And in my head,
Really?
I was like, "What?"
He didn't go in there with a weapon, or
Yeah.
just
So
Not even this.
not even the fucking
no. So they
undergun.
they postponed the court date for like 3 months. So I was on unconditional bail, so I had the freedom to do whatever I wanted. I just had to be back for that court date. 4 days later, after leaving court, the magistrate's court, I decided it's a good idea to leave the country and not come back for a year and a half. So I ended up technically, so I missed my court date, and I was on the run. And because I'd missed a Crown Court date,
How could you be so stupid?
I mean, I've already robbed the shop in a monkey mask. I'm already dumb.
Okay.
I might as well do more dumb shit to fucking really tally it up. So yeah.
Would your mum not like come back for your court date?
I said I was gonna come back, and then I messaged her like the next day. I was like, I'm not ready to face prison and shit like that. I'm super sorry. To be fair, I can't remember, but I don't think I spoke to anybody. But to get away, because I had no money, I borrowed more money
Fucking
to pay somebody else, and then I got into debt with naughty people somewhere else. So I went on the run for a bit, went to a few different things. Because I missed my court date and I've been out of the country so long, they put an international arrest warrant out for me. So I was on Interpol. And I remember one night in Marbella.
That woman on the bargain booze was way too oversensitive. Like she maybe had like an issue with like monkeys or something. Like
I mean, it's not her that had the issue. I don't think. I think it's
she could have just let that go. I would sort of laugh that off. Been like, yeah.
It's different though, isn't it? Because although I wasn't overly intimidating, I've gone into a shop in a mask asking for money. Doesn't matter if I've done it intimidatingly, had a weapon. I've gone in, and so it's just not.
I don't agree with it, but like fucking Interpol, international arrest warrants, all that shit.
It got blown out of proportion for what I'd done.
But you blew it out of proportion. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's my own fault. It's my own stupidity. I'm not saying it isn't, but
I've just realised with these glasses, when you go up and down, it gets darker and lighter. Never mind. Only I can see it.
Cool. Cheers. Thanks for that. So I had an international arrest warrant out for me, and I was in Marbella, and I got into a confrontation with this lad, and then the police came over, and they searched us all, stopped us all, and they searched my name on the system, and they went, "You're coming with us." And I was like, okay. I don't know why. I didn't think I was on Interpol at this point, which I was, but I didn't think I was.
What did you think was gonna happen? Like when you left, that they'd just forget it, or it would just be in the country? Like,
I was just hoping if I came back like 10 years later, I would have come back and go, "You were meant to go to jail, but you've been away that long. You're not." That's what I was hoping for.
Fucking hell.
So initially, that was what was on my mindset. Clearly not. So I get held in Spanish jail for 3 weeks.
Like full on Spanish jail.
Yeah. I was in a jail called Soto del Real in Madrid.
What? So it's just not intimidating.
So what happened in the Spanish jail? I didn't know about the Spanish jail.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I spent like 17 days in Spanish jail. Spent my birthday there. Got to watch.
You've been throwing a party.
A guy gave me a T-shirt because I have no clothes.
Okay.
I got the outfit I got arrested in. That was my clothes. That was all I had.
What was that? What did you
Uh,
get?
So they let
arrested
you wear
in?
your own clothes in
Yeah,
Spanish
well, I had a
prison?
Louis Vuitton belt, so I looked like a drug dealer.
Louis Vuitton belt and I'm
Yeah.
assuming shorts.
A fake Louis Vuitton belt though.
Of a black man, though. Yeah. 'Cause
Oh right, okay.
Your uncle sold it to
Yeah,
me on the beach.
No, it was directly me. I was over there for a little bit and I was just like, what's he doing it?
Why is he buying this £10 Louis Vuitton
So
belt?
he's on that Interpol list. No.
So yeah, I was and because I had my card tricks, everyone was my best mate.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, how good are you at magic?
I think the better question is how good are you at Spanish?
Oh.
No,
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
You know what I mean? That, because if
Well, it
you
was my job, really. It was my. I was
Okay, so you were a full-time magician.
Yeah.
So
in
as good
Spain,
as you are
or
now.
did you?
I was a magician in Spain, and when I got arrested with my cards and stuff on me because I'd finished work, I was out and about, and the police stopped me, so I had all my magic stuff on me. So I went to prison, and I went, please can I have my cards, just to let me play with it, it's my job, and they went, okay, and I was like, thank God, everyone's going to be my friend.
Got the nicest police. Like, all right, just
Can you do a trick for the officers to prove that you could do it?
Yeah, I did it naked.
What the?
I had to do a magic trick
He
completely
pulled the ace of
naked.
spades out of his foreskin.
No. So before I'd gone to Spanish jail through the process of in the police station of processing me, they do a strip search. So they get you naked to make sure you're not concealing anything, and they make you do a squat. So you have to squat down, so you've not got anything in your arsehole, and they ask you to spread your butt cheeks.
You coughing or?
Yeah, they make you cough and stuff. So you do all that, and they went, "Are you a drug dealer? Are you a drug dealer?" And I went, "No." He's like, "What'd you do?" And I went, "I do magic tricks. Do a trick." So I'm butt naked. I've got a little willy that's cold in there, so it's definitely not big. And I'm saying, "Pick a card." So I'm just
Forcing, be like, good choice, 7 of diamonds.
I'm just this hairy naked man doing magic tricks for all these policemen in a small room.
So
Was
just
it
all.
nice?
Well, I thought I was going to get a truncheon up my ass, to be fair.
A what?
I thought they were going to shove the truncheon up my ass.
I don't know what a truncheon is.
Basically, a truncheon's like a massive portable dildo.
It looks like a dildo, but it's a weapon that the police have.
It's not a weapon. It's just.
Oh, like a baton.
Yeah, a truncheon. That's what we call it in England. It's a truncheon.
Like a foot.
A baton?
Yeah, a truncheon.
Okay.
So anyway, I didn't get fucked by a truncheon, which is good. And yeah, just
Baton, for those Australians watching.
or dildos for you sexually inactive people.
Hey, dildos can spice up a sex life. Am I right, Taylor?
I told you not to tell anyone about that. You alright?
So, you're in the police station,
Yeah.
right? And then you're in the Spanish jail. So
Yeah.
a guy gives you a T-shirt because you did card tricks. And then who paid for your like EasyJet flight back here?
You guys
Oh,
paying your
yeah,
taxes.
Really?
Yeah, your tax money paid for the police officers to have a night out in Madrid the night before, pick me up, fly me back to England, and when I flew back to England, I looked like a serial killer.
What was your look?
So I had a pretty big beard. No, I just had stubble because I just recently shaved it off. To be
Oh,
fair.
okay.
So I had stubble. My hair was long and it was like pushed back and stuff. I was in these horrible trackies, minion top, and I had like a full body handcuff set on. So it was wrapped around my waist, and it had 2 strings out with 2 handcuffs there,
Yeah.
and then it had 2.
Were you on
strings
like
down.
an EasyJet flight?
I think so. It was a mainstream flight anyway. Back to
So you were
Holy
just a
shit.
prisoner on a flight?
yeah, and I had
Was
2
anyone chatting to you?
Well, I had 3 police officers with me, so I was sat in the middle of the chair. I had one here, and then one in the other seat there. And they had hold of these handles by the side of me, so if I tried to run, they'd pull the handles, and all the strings that held the handcuffs would just come together, and I'd just be on the floor. Like, ooh.
Did you try to run?
No, I'm
Where
not.
was he
right.
gonna run on the plane?
Well, how did you
Where
know
is-
that it was going to end up like that?
Because they said, if you run, this is what's going to happen.
Oh right, okay.
So
and
they-
you were like, "Nah, man, I just want to get. I just
like-
want to get on the
I just-
Ryanair and head home."
I just want to, I want to get this over and done with, I'm not going to run. But they were like, and then when I got through the airport, normally they take you through a back way so nobody sees you, but
Oh.
no, honey, no. I get escorted right through the centre of the airport at like 6 p.m, so I'm it's
Oh.
peak time in the airport, and then I'm greeted by these 2 guys with machine guns. You know the
Yeah.
police officers that carry the machine
The
guns?
British
Yeah.
police officers.
Yeah,
have
yeah,
machine
yeah.
guns.
So they
no,
have, like-
I don't know them because your
Not
officers don't
personally.
have guns.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, at the
the
airport.
police ones do.
Yeah,
They
you,
know.
they have people who walk around with like machine guns and stuff, and they're greeting me. They went, "Is this him?" And they go, "Yeah." And then they walked me through the airport.
Do the guys with the machine guns know it was only a monkey mask and a bag of booze?
They just know they're getting somebody who's been arrested and due to go to Crown Court. They didn't get told
So
what.
they're not like the smartest of guys because you're in handcuffs and they're like chained.
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
asking,
So
is this
I'm
him?
walking through the airport with 2 guys at the front with machine guns, 2 guys holding onto these straps at the side of me, and 1 guy at the back of me. I'm just walking through.
You're just looking at people being like, bag and booze, monkey mask, don't do it.
I was thinking everyone's thinking like I'm a fucking like
That's some
Leonardo
would've-
DiCaprio from like Catch Me If You Can. I was like, these must think I'm cool as fuck.
I'll tell you right now, no one thought you were cool.
Yeah, looking back, what an art. What a dickhead.
Fucking hell. So then, did you go straight? It was at Manchester Airport, was it? Okay, so it was at Manchester Airport, straight back to the original prison that you went to on the night they took you from your house.
Yeah, went there, and then.
And were they like, good to see you again?
Yeah, oh, welcome back. You forgot your shoes last time. Nah, they you left these there. Nah, they just checked me in and stuff, give me a book to read, let me have a shower and brush because they were dead nice to me.
Question: scale of 1 to 10, what would you say like the hospitality in a Spanish prison is?
Ooh, good question. I'd say the hospitality in a Spanish prison is about 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Serious?
Like the facilities and everything, like it's quite nice. And then
Yeah.
compare that to a British prison.
Yeah, better.
Better?
Spanish prison is better than British prison.
What are the people like though? Like the inmates, were they?
Sick, they're like Colombian drug smugglers. They're fucking cool. Not gonna lie, like, how many drug smugglers have you met? Not many.
How many naked magicians have I met as well? Just see.
See my willy.
See? Gold.
So would you have preferred to have done your sentence
Yeah,
in a
yeah. If I
Spanish
had the
prison?
choice, I'd 100% spend my time in a Spanish prison. You're out of your cell all day. It's sunny most of the time. We're in the yard playing football. Once a week, I got to go to this big gymnasium where I got to play like 5-a-side against some fucking like rippers. We could have gone swimming. There was a swimming pool and stuff.
Sounds better than my life now.
Sounds better than the hotel I went to in Magaluf.
There's like a corner shop that's open all day for you to go and buy anything. You got a prison credit card with money on it. The thing is with prison, right? Nobody should ever go to prison, but if you have money inside prison, life is pretty easy, and you don't need that much money to have a good life in prison.
Interesting.
Which is sad. It shouldn't be like that, but it's what it is, unfortunately.
So let's talk about your time in English prison. So how long was your sentence? And how long, like from when you got internationally back in the airport in the handcuffs to your Crown Court day? What was that?
3
time?
days.
So 3 days.
3
And then
days.
it was sentence and straight to prison?
Yeah.
So what was the sentence?
15 months.
15
I got
months.
sentenced to 15 months.
How long did you serve?
I served inside prison 4.5 months, and then I came out on an ankle bracelet, like tag,
Yeah.
for another 3 to 4 months, and then I was on license, which basically means I had to go to probation once a week to go for a meeting and stuff. So yeah, that was that.
What do you feel like do you feel like you would have got like a lighter sentence if you didn't skip out, like going to?
Yeah, I feel I would have got community service.
Oh, fuck.
And then, do you know why I think they were so hard on me? What happened? Because I'd done something with my life.
Yeah.
I'd achieved something. I'd done magic for famous people. I was on this trajectory of a career that looked like it could have been really good. But if it was the other way around and it was a little crackhead that was trying to feed his drug habit, it wouldn't have made national news. But because what I did, it made the Mirror, the Sun, the Mail, it made every newspaper possible, and my whole career got slandered, and it ruined my career. Yeah, I'd made a mistake. Yeah, I'd fucked up. But do I deserve to lose my whole livelihood? It's a catch-22. People don't get it when you've not been in a situation where you've been helpless and you've made a mistake. Do you then lose the rest of your career for the rest of your life?
Especially when yours is like entertainment is based on reputation as well,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
heavily. It's like properly taken.
So when so obviously you guys know me as James Livingstone, but that's not my real name. My real name is Curtis.
What?
Yeah. So my real name isn't James, it's Curtis, and
It's a black name.
yeah. What a man nigga. I can say it. My name's Black.
My name.
It's cool.
I know a black name.
I know a black guy. I'm not racist.
I've eaten African food.
I had rice once.
A rice one. Yeah. You guys are going on a list in the black community.
So was originally before you went to prison, your magic name was Curtis Watson, and then you changed to James Livingston when you came out, so you could start again.
Well,
as
no,
like a
I
new
didn't
brand?
originally go to James. James was something about 2 years ago that
Okay.
I came up with. So yeah, if you Google my full name, you just have all these articles. Like there was like the full first page of Google. There was just images and every newspaper article, and it was. I did deserve it. I had fucked up.
Yeah, but no one does it. Look, for the fact that you didn't bring a weapon, I know the intimidation factor on her part must have been scary, but that level for like something that wasn't violent
Yeah.
and nothing happened, you didn't even get the money out of it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
and you know what
front
it is, what it
page
is.
news and stuff.
And I mean, it was front page news in the Macclesfield Express, and
Yeah.
it was like 3 or 4 pages in on like the Daily Mirror, the Mail, and the Sun and stuff. And it was only like a quarter of a page, so it wasn't a massive article, but that goes out to millions of people.
Yeah.
And if people Google my name, like it just comes up. I don't know. It's just if I hadn't have done something good with my life before I'd committed a crime, would I have made national news?
No,
No.
not at all.
And
How many people do you think in prison are there for like the wrong reason? So like they made a mistake like you, it's a one-off thing, they'll go back out and they'll be fine? Or is it a lot of just repeat offenders, you get into the system and you almost can't break the hamster wheel?
I don't know. I can't say this is an undisputable fact, but I'd say 70 to 30%. So 70% of people who are consistent offenders,
Yeah.
or people who have been in more than once,
Yeah.
and 30% made a mistake, fucked up, never going to go back again.
Okay.
So one of the biggest things that stands out, there's 2 people that really stand out for me, and I won't mention the names, but there was one lad who was nearly finishing university, and he was driving to university one morning, and the roads were wet. He took a bend around the corner, and he lost control, and he crashed into a car, and unfortunately the other person in the car died. So he got death by dangerous driving. It was a genuine mistake. He may have gone a little too fast. It was right, but yeah, he got death by dangerous driving.
How long's the sentence?
He got 5 years,
That's
but he'll be out in 3, I think. Well, he'll obviously be out now, and so. But to see somebody who was, and he was getting like he was on his way to a first. Like I'd seen some of his drawings and shit. Like, he was good. So to see somebody like lose the opportunity to finish a university degree or whatever, and lose 5 years of life, and then for the rest of his life has to declare that he has a criminal record, it's not gonna be easy for him. Yeah, he's taken a life and stuff, and he should go to. But it's just hard to see an upstanding citizen who worked really hard, and he just got into a shit situation where it was out of his control.
genuine, like, God honest mistake.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
not gone
nothing-
out of his way to kill somebody, and that's why he got death by dangerous driving.
Yeah.
And it's just a shit situation, I think.
Aren't you not supposed to talk about what you're in for when you're in prison? Is that not the rule?
It's one of them. If you don't talk about it, people might think you're a
Oh,
nonce.
they'll just come up with something else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They'll be like, they'll presume.
And nonces, I assume nonces don't have an easy time.
No, so nonce stands for not of normal criminal eligibility. And back in the day when it was a
What?
thing. Yeah.
It was just nonsense.
Yeah. No, so back in the day, nonce was not of normal criminal eligibility, and it was
What does that mean?
So it was a crime that wasn't like robbery or theft. It was something a bit out of a certain category. So you didn't necessarily have to finger kids to be a nonce. You didn't have to do a sexual crime, right?
Okay.
You could fit in the category, but as time went on, people who were categorised as a nonce used to be separated from different people because it didn't fit a criteria. This was what someone told me, and I don't know how defined it is, but nonce does stand for not of normal criminal eligibility. And moving forward, when you're a sex offender or you've committed a crime that people really don't appreciate, it's best to be away from everybody. And so you get put in a vulnerable person's ward. You get the choice.
Oh, okay.
So
The choice.
yeah, when you enter prison, you get the choice. They say, would you like to be on the VP wing, or do you not care where you go?
That's where they put celebrities, isn't it? Like to get them out of general population.
Yeah. So vulnerable
People might want
person.
to attack them, or like high profile, like gangsters and mobsters,
Oh,
and that
shit.
will
Yeah,
go there
yeah,
because their life is at risk if they mix in with the
Oh,
general.
okay. With someone that
Yeah,
wouldn't
so
know.
vulnerable persons is just a wing that has a lot more security on it, and also it's for people who are like suicidal or depression and stuff, and they just get there's more people to watch on that stuff, and they'll have cells. So even on my wing in one of the prisons,
One of the prisons.
So I went to 2 prisons in England. Well,
Okay.
3 prisons. I went to Walton, until I went for my court date.
Yeah.
When I came out of court, I went to Risley.
Which is where?
That's in Warrington
Okay.
or Liverpool.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry, no. I went to Old Course after Walton. That's in Liverpool.
Okay.
But because my postcode is a Cheshire postcode, I had to go to a Cheshire prison. So I went to one in Warrington, which covered the Cheshire area.
Is Warrington in Cheshire?
Yeah, it's classed as Cheshire. Yeah.
It's a world of adventures.
Yeah, I think it's West Cheshire. No? Yeah, West Cheshire.
I don't fucking know. You could literally tell me anything.
Yeah. It's in Hertfordshire. It's in Hertfordshire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, another place I don't care about. You were in 3 prisons, but in one of the prisons, what was
so at the end of the prison, there was a prison that didn't have a normal door. It had barred doors, and it had like a glass, not a glass, but like a plastic thing and stuff on it. So you could see through, you could talk to them and stuff. But that's people who are on like suicide watch. So people who tried to take their life or anything.
Okay.
And so they'll have somebody sat out in their cell 24 hours a day. And people are on a rota just to sit outside there, talk to them and stuff, and keep an eye on them, make sure they don't do anything stupid.
Isn't like Stockholm syndrome set in where you might like fall in love with the person that sits there? Is that like a real thing? You know, like if you're tasked to like sit there and talk to someone all day, either the person in the cell is like maybe like clutching onto that relationship.
I never saw any of that, so I can't give you an opinion or experience.
What do you think?
You're giving a lot of emotional backstory to these guys. It's like,
I've watched I've watched a lot of prison documentaries, and I know that doesn't make me qualify to
I think you can do. I think people can get attached because, yeah, somebody's committed a crime and they might be a bit of a bad person, but if you take away what they've done, they're just a human being.
Yeah.
And the thing I found with prison, you can put, if no one's ever been to prison before, when you take away someone's freedom, lock them in a room for a while, you can break a human being down to being a little boy or a little girl again, and you can really, it really affects people on an emotional level sometimes because I'm not saying that we shouldn't put people. We should. Prison's there for a reason. You have a rehabilitation system, and I think I'm a really fucking good example of the rehabilitation system does work. As to where I was and where I'm at now, I'm a completely different person, and I'm very grateful for the experience. But it does break you down and tear you down and stuff.
So it did break you down.
To an extent, yeah. It didn't break me down until I left prison.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you know, like when people join like the military, like they're like basically like we're gonna break you down to nothing, and then we're gonna rebuild you to like what we want you to be. Was it similar to that or not?
No,
really?
it's quite easy. You have a regime. The doors open in the morning every time at the same time for breakfast. You go and have your breakfast. The doors locked. You go to do your day job or your night job, whatever job you have within the prison.
What jobs did you have?
I had 2. So I worked on reception in the first prison, greeting prisoners coming in, giving them a food when they arrive from court dates, giving them their welcome bag. And then when I moved to another prison, I didn't get a job because I wasn't in long enough to. Because the only job I really wanted to work in the library. I thought that was all the guys in there were really, really nice, and I was quite interested in reading at that point. But I wasn't in prison long enough to get a job in prison. To get a job in the library. So I just went back to school and redid my English GCSEs. Just to pass time. I'd already got GCSEs. I didn't need to do it, but it was the one
better.
thing. Yeah.
There's something to do. Like,
yeah. Because
do they make you do something, or can you elect to do nothing?
If you elect to do nothing, they'll take away your TV in your room.
Really? Okay. So they're encouraging you to do either a job or a program.
And also, you earn money for it. You like because I went to school 5 days a week to do for like 2-3 hours a day. I got paid £5 a week for that, which isn't a lot. But in a week, the most you can spend is £20 a week.
Yeah.
So it's good. You can spend a good chunk.
You can buy your toothpaste and stuff with that, and you already get 3 meals a day anyway. So yeah, you don't need too much.
What's the prison canteen like? Like, what's the craziest like thing you wouldn't expect them to sell?
Well, the canteen
Or like the commissary or whatever.
So yeah, it's canteen. Every Friday, you get an A4 piece of paper with a list of everything you can buy on it, and then you can probably buy over 500 things on there.
Really?
Because they're all little Excel spreadsheets all the way down in like 4 rows, and then flip it over and it's got that again.
What's the weirdest thing?
Nothing really weird. It's just like going in Poundland.
Okay.
Anything you get in Poundland, you can get off this thing, apart from like knives and shit. You can't get that.
No.
Like iPhone chargers and like USB fans and stuff.
No, none of that.
Like what? Like
That's fucking contraband. If you get caught with any of that, you're getting like you're getting extra time on your sentence.
Like a charger.
Yeah, if you get found with a phone charger, you got a chance of getting extra time.
Really?
Did you know anyone with like stuff they shouldn't have?
Yeah. I've seen it all, bro.
Like what? Like what? Tell us.
I've seen shanks. I've seen little mobile phones about the size of my thumb. I saw a BlackBerry.
Can't call me that, man. But yeah, it's good.
So how are they getting the mini phone in?
There's a few ways. So some people plug them on visits. Some people have been to open prisons and brought them back and plugged them right up their arse or swallowed them in a condom and shat them out when they got in. There's this kid, right? I don't know his name, but he just throws over the walls of prisons, right?
He does what, sorry?
Throws over the walls. So he's got the most.
Oh, he throws things. Sorry, I thought you meant he froze the walls like
he-
ice and froze. I was like,
No.
that doesn't help anyone. It's just a cold wall.
This kid does about 4 to 5 throws a week at different prisons. He gets £100 a throw, and all he does is just rev it up on his scooter, pulls up to a certain point, and chobs whatever it is over the wall. But his throw's that sick. Somebody will be walking from school back to their cell at a certain time. He'll throw it, and it'll just land in his hands. It's fucking unbelievable. I saw a throw twice, and then one time it just landed next to the lamppost, so the kid ran and got it, and then the screws like fucking came and got him, and then he got an extra 2 years on his sentence for picking it up.
No way.
What
were they throwing? You don't know.
Drugs, and so sometimes it'll be in a tennis ball, or sometimes it'll be like in a stuffed pigeon.
So so the guy's outside the prison wall. How far does he have to throw it?
Pretty fucking far.
And he's just
Probably
got
the
an
length
arm
of a
on him.
football pitch.
Really?
Yeah. It's a fucking great throw, and he just fucking chobs it, and you just see his finger going, what's that? It's fucking spice. Fucking go.
Right,
Oh, you
what
smoke
happens
spice.
if you like it landed and you was like, "Oh, the fuck's this?" and then they caught you? Is that like, oh,
You're gonna be talked to about it, and they're gonna like believe that you're in on it and stuff. And if they find 1 millimeter of evidence, you're probably fucked. You'll get an extra 2 years.
fuck? If that was me, my dumb ass would be like that inquisitive to go like, "Oh shit, what's this?" And then go,
So you've seen one throw executed correctly and one throw.
Yeah, I saw 2 throws in 1 prison
Okay.
in the space of like 3 days.
fuck.
To the same guy? Who are they throwing it to? How are they organising the throws?
through their mobile phones they've already got in prison.
Okay.
So because guys have got phones in the cells and stuff, like private ones that the screws don't know about and stuff.
Right.
So it's just because a lot of people want to speak to their kids and family after hours when they're in the cell. So that's the main reason having a phone. But a lot of people still conduct business in prison. So it's pretty like people are still running like drug gangs outside and stuff, and on the phone and stuff. They're still running business, like, so they need the phones at all hours, I guess, to still be making money.
Was anyone in there? Did you see anyone have like a cush cell, like they had everything they wanted?
Yeah, like my next door neighbour, bro, he had it all. Like, so I just landed really lucky. I got to meet the right people at the right time.
Oh, okay.
And I never had trouble in prison. If anyone give me trouble, I'll be like, you don't want to do that. Look who my friends are, bro. You want this? Cool.
Is it because you did magic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
But my next door neighbour so every wing in a jail, I'll have someone who owns like a shop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the way the shop works is, Costa Canteen's only once a week. Say by Tuesday, you've run out of burn, which is tobacco, right?
Yeah.
And you really, by now, you're not allowed to smoke in prisons anymore.
Really?
You're not allowed to buy it, so they've all got these little vape pens that they can buy, which is mental.
What, you can get vape pens
Now,
off the
yeah, you can
commissary?
get it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they've cut out smoking. It's illegal to smoke in prisons now.
You know, I know that because when I used to work in a vape shop, right, this guy came in and he goes, I want to replace this bullshit vape. And I was like, oh, where'd you get it? He's like, prison. He was like, I only just got out and it's shit. And I was like, all right, bro, let's G you up. Let's get you some equipment up in here.
A unit.
But,
What were we talking about?
sorry, so the guy with the shop.
So say on a Tuesday, right, you've run out of shit and you need something. You'll go to the guy who's got the shop and say, bro, what can I have this? He'll go, yeah, you can have this, but next week I want it back twice over. So if you
Also, you got to use your money to get.
he'll give you this. Say you need ketchup, right?
Yeah.
He'll give you ketchup. Next week you've got to give him 2 bottles of ketchup back. So when your canteen comes on Friday, you have to order 2 bottles of ketchup, and then next Friday when it gets delivered, you have to go and give it to him, or he'll smash your head in.
Okay.
So, hang on. So how does he have all the stuff?
He's just built up.
He just.
He's
he
just
just
guy that's been in
saved
there for
up.
life.
He's been in for like 4 years.
Also, he
something.
saved it up over time.
Yeah.
Oh.
In the first like year and a half, he just built the stuff up, and because he had loads of stuff, he's just got to a point now where he's just got so much shit coming in on a Friday, he never needs to buy anything.
Oh, okay,
So he's got to a point where he doesn't do it to make a living or whatever. He just never has to use money out of his canteen. He's always got Jaffa cakes. He's always got drinks, shower gel. So he never needs to buy anything because he's making it back off you giving it to him.
Doubles. Okay.
Yeah.
And is he quite violent?
What's he got?
Or it's just prison respect thing in prison?
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
Yeah, go.
like how much, sir? Like did you ever see prison respect be broken?
Yeah. I saw one fight.
Okay.
And they went at it for like 5 minutes, like it was like bare knuckle, just like
Like proper fight.
yeah, just non-stop going and stuff.
Like proper like swinging and just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
haymakers,
I-
or like actual proper fight. Like
like a gypsy fight.
okay.
Yeah, and there's quite a respect about it. If one guy's go down, they wait for him to get back up, and then you go again until someone says it's a day, and then the other guy wins. That's how it works. And there'll be other people like if
And the guards didn't try to break it up.
no, because it was done on the third landing, so there was other people. So I was stood down on the second row out of my cell, and if we were looking at watching it, and if anyone saw one of the screws come in, we'd just give them a shout to let them stop, because they had a disagreement.
Yeah.
So the right way to go about it in prison was to have it out. And that's the way they do it. And then after it was over, they shook hands, and that was that. So it wasn't like I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe in other prisons.
That is an example of prison respect. Like
Yeah,
that's the way we're both agreeing to deal with it. We shake hands, we do what we need to do.
Because you have two different types. You have YO prisons, which is young offenders,
Okay.
and then you have prisons that just have people who are adults, right?
Yeah.
So in a YO prison, I think it might be different. You'll get dirty kids that would get a shank and just stab you.
Yeah.
But I think as you get older, you don't want to spend the rest of your life in prison.
Yeah, because it just.
So
you'll
why
keep
would
adding
And you can
time.
never get away with a crime in prison. That's the dumbest place to commit a
There'll
crime.
be so if you're getting out in like a few years, you're not gonna want to stab somebody. If you're in for life,
Yeah,
Nothing
then
to
it
lose.
doesn't.
you're not nothing to lose. So
Did you meet any lifers?
Yeah. So there used to be a thing called IPP.
Okay.
I can't remember what IPP stands for, but it's not in the system anymore. And at the time when I was in prison, there was 6,000 IPPs in prison. So they were prisoners who got a sentence, but because they were classed as dangerous, after their sentence was over, that the judge gave, they then had to wait to be signed off to leave prison. And there's still people in prison now. Like, so there was one guy who got 3 years. He'd been in for 12
Fuck.
because he's just not getting signed off. And because the IPP isn't a thing within the government, they've changed the whole procedure. There's no procedure for an IPP prisoner to leave. So it just takes a long time. So still at the moment, there's like 1,000+ prisoners that are classed as IPPs, and they just don't have a release date. Their sentence is over, and they're done. They've paid their time, but they're just not getting out yet.
So they don't get any like. Does no one no one set up any defences for them? or-
Yeah, they're going to meetings and stuff, and it's just fucked up. There's nothing they can do about it. They just have to wait.
So what? So in that time, if they get attacked and they have to fight them off, could they technically get extra time even though they're already done?
So if you committed a crime in prison, it wouldn't be added on there and then.
Yeah.
This is the saddest thing about prison, right? For people who have got another crime. So
Yeah.
say you'd done 2 crimes on the outside, right?
Yeah.
And you went to prison for one of them, and then during your time in prison, they found out you'd done the other one.
Yeah.
Rather than so sometimes they'll tell you inside, but some prisoners get to their release date and they're in the waiting room to leave prison. Oh, I'm gonna get a bacon butty, gonna go to the shop, gonna fucking shag my wife.
Yeah.
As soon as you get out the gates, 10 yards walking free, the police arrest them and say, there was one guy that was in for 3.5 years. He was out 10 minutes. 2 days later, he was back for another 3.5 years.
Fuck
And
that.
he didn't know about that. So he'd gone out, thought he was going to be free, and then went straight back in.
That's fucking ridiculous. That is
But on the other side of
painful.
it, he committed the crime, so he had to.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
it's
just
sad,
don't
isn't
let
it?
it. Don't
Yeah.
let me out to take it
Yeah,
away
yeah,
because you're
that's-
just gonna break someone.
Yeah.
So, are you? Do you want to go back to prison? Like, what do you want to?
So I now go back to prison.
Okay.
I do talks in prisons now.
Okay.
I started this year because I moved back to England in November, and on the day of leaving prison, I said I'm gonna go back to prison, but for good. And I didn't know what I was gonna do or how I was gonna do it. I met somebody at Christmas time, and they offered me the opportunity to come and do a talk with prisoners. And I've now been back 3 times. I've met somebody else, and I've now got a second prison on board. And they're having a meeting about getting funding so I can actually monetize it and make it a career. Because I do it now for free because I love it so much,
Yeah.
and I do it.
What do you talk about?
I talk about overcoming adversity. So when you come out, what are the struggles that you're going to get, and how do you overcome them? The mental battle you'll get with it, the overall rehabilitation process, and especially for first-time offenders, because it's when you're a first-time offender and you've not grown up with criminality and your family don't do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's really hard to process everything and get it all going, and it can really you become a little boy again.
So do people choose to come to hear you talk, or do they get told you have to go and
It's
watch
special
this?
people. So the first time I did it, the first two have been really, really good. So the first time I did a talk with 10 to 11 people who have completed a program through the Drugs and Rehabilitation Service. They're called DARS, and they work closely with prisoners, put them on courses and stuff, and really support what they're doing. And I'm just the prison system think I'm a really shining example how to turn it around, how to come from being a criminal to being a citizen again and not categorised as a criminal. Because that's the hardest bit about prison isn't in prison, it's
out.
when you leave. Because
You said you had a hard time getting a job and whatever. Like.
yeah, I went to interviews and I'm a people's person, I'm very good with people, so I'd go to interviews and get the jobs. There was one place, and they're fucking cunts, right? They loved me on the day. They were like, yeah, we'd love to give you the job, you're great. And at no point did they ever ask, do you have a criminal record? It just didn't come into conversation. It wasn't on the application form. So why should I go out of my way and go, by the way, I've got a criminal record. Don't judge me though. Nice one. So when they ask, I never shied away from it. I'll always speak about it. I think it's important to speak about it. But because this town isn't big, everybody knows what I've done.
Oh, okay.
So someone in the office went, do you know who he is? No, why? He went to prison. He robbed the shop. So on my first day of starting, halfway through, we went, we can't carry on employing. We heard you've been to prison. And I was like, so you're going to have to leave. And that was it. And I'm like, what's the whole point of having a rehabilitation process, paying your time, doing the shit you need to do, trying to become a better person, to then we go, oh, you're a criminal, we don't want you here, nice one. It defeats the whole purpose.
Yeah, just leaves them in a state where they might have to do it again.
Yeah, and there's only so many times someone can say, no, you're a criminal, before you think, fuck it, if that's what people think of me,
Don't
I'll
you
just
feel
go and
like
do it.
you're the exception to the rule though? Because
Why?
my view of criminals is not you.
It doesn't matter. I've committed a crime. I am a criminal. I have gone out of my way.
But not a lot of people turn it around like you have.
It's because
it's like a broken system afterwards.
yeah, it's a broken system afterwards. I'm very I'm quite strong-minded, right? So I can deal with people giving me shit.
I don't feel like you went to prison because you were a bad person. I feel like you went to prison because you made a mistake. There's people who go to prison because they're bad people. And should we still give those bad people a second chance?
Even so,
the reason they're bad people is because people don't give them the time of day to give them a chance.
Even so, I think like
100%. Like when we're all born, we can't talk. We have to get people to wipe our asses and shit. We just learn, and they've been given a path which isn't great. But if you just really take your time, because they might put up a front and stuff, and people will go, fuck it, I can't be arsed with this person. That's not the attitude to have. The attitude is to have to go, no, I'm actually going to stick with you and really work with you. And then, so my whole purpose is to deal with bad people. I want to deal with the whole spectrum. But I like the idea of somebody who's been to prison 7 or 8 times, taking them under my wing and teaching them how to be successful. Because if somebody gave them guidance, like if you owned a company, right, and me and Teo applied, we've got the same qualifications, same everything, but I have a criminal record, he doesn't.
Is he still black?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was
he
gonna
doesn't have
say.
the-
No, I'm so black.
Okay, there's 2 people.
I mean,
Yeah, what?
That's better.
yeah.
You look white now.
I'm only joking. There's my boy.
We're not racist.
No, that's what happens on job applications. I put my real name down there, like, fuck that, I don't even know how to say it. not lying yet. Not doing that every day. Fucking name badge am I gonna put on you?
You know, it's Subway. Aditeo.
Just have a
Way.
plaque.
I'll just go around the back of his t-shirt.
Got a plaque on my shirt, just like just tails fine. It's all right.
Yeah, just put T.
Yeah. There we go.
Where were we?
You're talking about coming out of prison, and you want to find someone that's been into prison 7 or 8 times and try and rehabilitate them. Or
Yeah,
teach them.
no. So the point was about me and Teo, right? We're both the same person on paper.
Yeah.
However, I have a criminal record and he doesn't.
Yeah.
I will work 100 times harder than he has because I have more of a point to prove. He could go to another job and not.
Do you think that's the mindset of every prisoner, though?
It should be.
Do you think it is, though?
It doesn't matter. It's a 50,
Everyone's got
yeah,
different
100%,
mindsets anyway,
100%,
but-
right? Because most people commit a crime for a monetary gain, right?
Okay.
So my whole thing is when I go into talk is to talk about that. It's just common sense. We've got more to prove, so let's fucking prove it, right? And if they work in a sales job or a commission job and can earn big fucking bucks, and they can earn the same money they are selling drugs or doing fraud, Why would they? If they could make that money legitimately, they fucking would. It's just really easy to sell drugs or do whatever to make money, right? Because that's what most crimes are about. You do it for mine was for monetary gain, and I guess
I don't think anyone's going into the mindset of I want to be the bad guy on the block. Like nobody, people just want to make the money so they can
But
live.
murder, you don't murder people for monetary gain.
Murder is like a
Sometimes
different.
it's
I'd say,
anger, it's emotional crime. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a different. I don't have that experience, so I'm not the right person to speak to.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, if you legitimately like murdered your wife in cold blood or something, right? You murdered.
That's a
that's
different.
like a specific situation.
Realistically, I can't deal with them people because I don't think it's fair for me to stand in a room full of murderers, rapists, paedophiles and say life's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Those bad people don't
and
deserve. I don't think they deserve what you're going to offer, or you're saying that you're going to offer criminals.
There's a fine line. I can definitely offer emotional support and guidance because it's a tricky one.
Is it going to be the same regardless? Because they're just going to be seen as a criminal regardless of what.
Yeah, it's just the criminal status because you tick the box and then you're a criminal, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the crime is.
And I can't go into this and not help one but not the other. I don't think that's fair. And some people may disagree with me. You shouldn't help murderers and paedophiles, but they are a human being at the end of the day, and they're stuck in four walls and they've committed a heinous crime, and they should suffer for what they've done. But maybe they just need a shoulder to talk to. They just need someone to talk to and let loose. And whether I agree with them or I don't have to like someone to be able to sit down with them. I don't have to agree with someone. I can sit down with another human being and have a chat and give them some guidance. Because if they're going to get out of prison, they need an opportunity to do something. You can't let... It just defeats the purpose. You go to prison, you serve your time, that's what the judge thinks. Why then, when they leave prison, should they not be able to do anything?
Do you think they should have like rather than what they have now, have an internal record saying you committed this crime, but that's for like police, and then you should be taken off any public record so you can go into a job? I mean, like for like
it's not safe.
For like lowercase crimes then.
No,
So
because
like
when you tick the box, it says, can you expand on this? So you always have to explain what your crime was.
So, you think it's fair though, right, when you are mixing out in the general public as a criminal, right, people have a right to know if they ask or if they look into you or whatever, that you are a criminal, and that's safe for the general public to know. Not necessarily to judge, but to know.
It depends in which situations, but there are situations, yes, like...
Say, for example, you moved into this house. Do you think your neighbours have a right to know that you're a criminal?
If it's... No, I don't think they do.
Interesting.
I think if I'm going to work in...
No, that's what I'm saying. Is it for like... I would mean for jobs, like
For
specifically.
jobs, yeah. If you're working... If you're doing work or doing something actively, but to live next door to somebody, they're inside their four walls. If they're not affecting me, why do I need to know his personal shit? Why does he need to know 5 years ago, 6 years, 7 years ago, I robbed the shop? He doesn't need to know that. I can just walk by, say hello, let him do his day. And that's the way the world should work. When you if you're going to try and work in schools or do something like when you're working with the public to try and make a living, I think it's important that that's known, because if we didn't, you'd never know who was doing that. So I think it's important for the world to know, but in your own space, nobody needs to know.
If your neighbour asked you if you were a criminal, would you tell them?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think everyone should? Do you think it's not something you should ever lie about?
You should. No, one thing I'm really passionate about is honesty. You should never lie, and no matter what you've done, you shouldn't hide away from it. You've done it and face the consequences. It's not what you do. It's how you deal with it.
Yeah.
So you can do anything in the world, good or bad.
Yeah.
It's your actions that follow that is most important.
So what's your greater plan within the prison system? Like, well, what do you want to do with it? Because now it's starting to get a bit of traction and momentum. Where do you want to take this?
So I try to find solutions in problems, right? Where's the solution? How can we fix something and make it a little bit better? I like the idea of teaching people a unique skill that they can make money with. Not a load of money, just when they get out of prison. So imagine if you were in prison, I came in, what would you like to learn? I'd like to learn the guitar, I'd like to learn how to sing, I'd like to learn how to paint, right? Imagine when somebody leaves prison and they have the skill set to be a busker or a street performer, and they can go make 20, 30 quid a day just to see them by, so they don't have to return to criminality to make the money.
Yeah.
Because when you leave prison, you don't leave with much, and you need money money to live. That's the way the world works. And if they don't have any, and they don't have any opportunities to make any, ultimately it's survival of the fittest, right? They're gonna they're gonna do something again to make money. So imagine if I could teach you a skill set that would allow you to be a street performer for a month or two, and just make enough money just to buy yourself a cheap pair of shoes, a nice suit, and just give yourself some sustainability to leave. And I think that's something I'd like to do. And even if they never use it to make money, if they found something they would like, I'd love a list of like 30 different creative talents, and go in and say what, and they'd have to go through a process. They'd have to complete a few courses, but then they would get special time with me and a creative person, and they would do special workshops. And I teach them the business side, how to monetize it if they wanted to, or would have people doing that. But then we'd have the other people who would teach them. And if they fell in love with something, they'd have something to focus on when they get out, and which I think is important.
So like developing a skill
Set, or a new hobby, something because there's not that much. There's a little bit in prison, but it's just there and it's not new and exciting. And I think there should be something, because if we don't do this thing, the rehabilitation process is so irrelevant. Why don't we just? Because you can't just throw them in a room, lock away the key, and leave them there forever. We have this system in place for a purpose. It's there for a reason. And then people go, oh, just lock away the key and throw them. We can't do that. You can't physically do that. It just defeats the whole purpose.
The phrase is lock them up and throw away the key.
Throw away the key and lock them up.
Throw away the key and lock them up.
I mean, it's the same shit. It's the same word.
Well, look, have you said everything you want to say? I feel like we've come to the end. But
I think so. You got any more questions?
I mean, I could keep going all day, but I feel like we've got to time. But I'm so glad you're out, mate. I'm so glad I've met you, and your life has gone all right. Thanks for being here, man.
That's fine.
NASA.
Yeah.
Whoa, man! Whoa, we're about to do the wrap up.
He said it was fine.
We're about to do the wrap up.
Yeah, it's not what he does now. It's what he does.
Yeah, he said it after it. I'll call an ambulance. Jeez.
Right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've been the boy.
I've been the beardle.
I've been the black.
Yes! See you next Tuesday.